The man, claiming to be the second strongest in the prison, was lying on the ground, being continuously beaten by the Mouth brothers. Surprisingly, he made no attempt to fight back. It turns out that just moments earlier, the warden had ordered the Mouth brothers to permanently disable Mike Tyson's hands. At this point, Mike had retreated to a corner and assumed his strongest boxing stance. However, to his surprise, the Mouth brothers mirrored his stance. The next moment, they launched a coordinated attack on Mike. Despite Mike's exceptional fighting skills, he couldn't evade the synchronized assault from all three. Facing this near-impossible attack from all angles, Mike was eventually knocked to the ground. Before he could react, one of the brothers locked him in a strange position, effectively immobilizing him. Then, the other two launched a brutal attack, knocking Mike unconscious. Just as they were about to strike Mike's hands, a small windmill suddenly flew through the air. Turning around, they saw someone rolling toward them from a distance. To their shock, it was none other than the second strongest man in the prison, Kbar. The Mouth brothers froze in place, terrified. Then, Kbar voluntarily stepped forward and asked to join the fight. Immediately, the Mouth brothers formed a triangle formation to encircle Kbar. But to their surprise, Kbar simply lay down on the ground. Without hesitation, the brothers launched a full assault on him, but to their shock, Kbar didn't retaliate. He calmly sat up after they finished their attack. The brothers were stunned. Then, Kbar placed his hands over his ears, listening to the wind. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and a fierce 12-level wind swept through the area. Kbar took off his shirt, traced strange symbols on his face with his hands, and in an instant, his body transformed. His muscles tightened rapidly, and he became as fierce as a wild beast. Seeing this, the Mouth brothers immediately adopted their strongest formation, throwing one of their own into the air and pinning him to the corner, while the other two flanked from both sides. Despite their powerful formation, Kbar mocked one of them, saying he had climbed too high. The next second, Kbar spun around and punched the man in the jaw. The force of the punch sent the man's teeth flying and his body flipping through the air, finally crashing into the other brother, causing a violent explosion of impact. The leader of the Mouth brothers, seeing this, was so scared that he urinated himself and immediately fled. The other brother collapsed in terror, unable to move.